Now on Coast TV News.
Lost at sea, everything we now know about the missing swimmer in Rehoboth Beach. A sea turtle in distress, where officials say to look out for this loggerhead turtle.
And it's been a good old-fashioned summer weekend on Delmarva. We had a few stray showers on the eastern shore, but I'm tracking more widespread potential heavy rain that could cause flooding. As we push into the early part of the week, we'll break down the latest storm chances in my latest forecast.
This is Coast TV News at 6.
Lifeguards keeping a close eye on everyone in the water. Good evening, I'm Brandon Ferguson. Welcome to Coast TV News at 6. We begin tonight with a missing swimmer in Rehoboth Beach. On Saturday, first responders rushed to the beach to try and find the man lost at sea, and they have yet to find anything. Coast TV News reporter Kevin Zapay shows us people's reactions to this lost swimmer.
Sam Albert and his family love vacationing in Rehoboth Beach every year, but what they saw Saturday night was something they've never encountered before during their stay.
Last night we were actually out on the patio and we saw the police cars and the ambulances and everybody swarmed down here.
Ian Stewart was near the first responders that night and found out that a person was lost at sea.
We had heard from another bystander that a group of teens were over here. One of them was screaming the name of one of their friends that they had just gone missing.
On Saturday, just after 7:30 p.m., the Rehoboth Beach Police Department was called to the beach near Olive Avenue for a report of a missing swimmer. From there, first responders in the area began to search for the individual.
I couldn't even imagine that sort of thing happening.
People lost at sea may be more common than you think. Just 2 years ago in Rehoboth Beach, Richard Boateng was lost at sea, and first responders later found the body washed up on shore. Albert hopes there will be a different outcome this time around, and warns everyone about the dangers of going too deep, especially when lifeguards are off duty.
Listen, don't go in deep, because there's always that danger, and you saw the reality of it last night, So please don't go out there too deep.
After hours of searching, the Rehoboth Beach Police came out saying they are suspending their search for the missing swimmer. I'm Kevin Zapay, Rehoboth Beach, Coast TV News.
It is important to note that lifeguards were not actively on the beach when police say the swimmer first went missing. In Rehoboth Beach, lifeguards are on duty from 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. on weekends, and on weekdays, lifeguards are on duty on the beach from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. For a full article on this swimmer that went missing in Rehoboth Beach, you can head to coasttv.com. Boaters are asked to be on alert for a loggerhead sea turtle in distress that was spotted in the Indian River Bay. The turtle has an injury to the rear of its top shell, which is making it struggle for it to dive, and is covered in algae and barnacles. MERR is actively trying to locate it. If you see this turtle, you're asked to contact MERR immediately, and if possible, stay with it until help arrives. And just 1 week ago today, a loggerhead sea turtle was rescued off the coast of Ocean City. The animal was spotted struggling to swim. Dive teams, along with Towboat US and the National Aquarium, pulled the turtle to safety. And now we're going to take a live look outside into a busy Sunday on the Rehoboth Beach Boardwalk and bring in our first alert meteorologist, Chris Mastrobuono. Good evening, Chris.
Good evening, Brandon. Picture perfect weekend on the peninsula. It's been really nice with that onshore wind, keeping the atmosphere stable and keeping things not that hot. Still quite humid out there. We're at 85 into Lewis. Dew point's still in the 70s, and we're not really going to see much of a change there as we push into the week. 79 in Rehoboth. We're at 81 Long Neck. 82 in Georgetown as that onshore flow continues to push inland, and we're pretty clear at the coast. We had one little stray shower kind of bubble up over the last hour. That has since dissipated just to the south of Cambridge, kind of forming with the sea breeze and kind of an outflow boundary from storms that are primarily west of Delmarva. We're keeping our eye on this cold front. That's sinking southward, and that's going to provide us with showers and storms tomorrow afternoon. We stay dry, mild and muggy with patchy fog developing through the overnight. We start the week unsettled, scattered showers and downpours for our Monday afternoon, really keeping a close eye on that flash flooding threat. Monday afternoon and then Tuesday with the stalled out frontal boundary, we could be dealing with scattered training, slow moving storms, and then late week sweltering heat as we see those heat indices over 100 degrees once again. We'll talk about that and track the showers and storms here in a little bit. Brandon.
Thank you, Chris. Ocean City police have identified 2 people wanted in connection with a theft at a restaurant on July 5th. Investigators say a woman entered an employees-only area near 34th Street and Philadelphia Avenue and stole cash. Police identified the 2 alleged thieves, and OCPD has not said if the suspects are in custody. Tomorrow, emergency dredging operations will kick off in the Ocean City Inlet. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is performing the dredging to restore safety for boaters ahead of the White Marlin Open. Maryland DNR says the northern half of the harbor channel will be closed to boat traffic while dredging is performed. The operation is expected to take 8 to 10 days in Ocean City. We have an update from a story from yesterday. Delaware State Police have identified 27-year-old Devin Fulmer as the man who died in a Bridgeville car crash early yesterday morning. Troopers say a Buick Century was speeding south on Wilson Farm Road when it ran a stop sign at Cannon Road and veered off and hit a concrete barrier and overturned. DSP says Fulmer was not wearing a seatbelt and died at the scene. Visitors at the Delaware Seashore State Park will have to stay clear of some areas starting tomorrow. Denrex says crews will be testing the sand bypass system around the Indian River Inlet. Crews will be moving large amounts of sand through high-pressure pipes from the south side to the north side. Entering active work zones will be prohibited as pumping operations will be dangerous. Those tests will run Monday through Thursdays for the next 4 weeks in Sussex County.
Well, after such a beautiful weekend, here we go again. The threat of more showers and storms as we begin the new week. I am concerned with some flooding threats both Monday and Tuesday. We'll track the storms here in minutes.
A new 30% tariff from President Donald Trump. What regions these tariffs will impact? We have that story next here on Coast TV News at 6.
This is Coast TV News at 6.
President Trump has announced a 30% tariff on goods imported from the Mexico and European Union. The new tariff rates will go into effect on August 1st. Trump posted the letters to the European Commission president and the Mexican president on social media yesterday. He threatened that rates will go even higher if a country retaliates with tariffs of their own. The move comes after Trump announced increased tariffs against numerous countries, including Canada, Japan, and South Korea. In Texas, mandatory evacuations are in place due to torrential rainfalls and threats of flash flooding. The National Weather Service says the San Saba River is forecasted to reaching over 31 feet. Further south, ground search operations have been temporarily suspended in Kerrville, Texas, due to the ongoing flood dangers. Local police officials made that announcement today. Rescue teams have been searching for missing people after the central part of the state was ravaged by flooding a week ago. At least 103 people have died and at least 140 people are still missing.
And I'm tracking our own threat here for flash flooding Monday into Tuesday. And then as we get into Thursday and Friday, we'll see more in the way of isolated afternoon storms. We'll track the storms and have a look at some hot temperatures when Coast TV News at 6 continues. Well, it has been a beautiful weekend here on the coast, Ocean City from Rehoboth, and it has just been really nice with that onshore wind, keeping things cool. Still muggy, but cool. We haven't seen any 90-degree temperatures. That is good news, but that's going to change, though, by the end of the week. 81 in Ocean City. You see that wind out of the southeast at about 6 miles an hour. We're at 79 in Rehoboth, 81 Dagsboro, 82 Georgetown, and we are at 82 in Milford. Now, despite a cold front coming through Monday, not going to help us in the humidity department. In fact, by the end of the week, it gets even worse. See the tropical-like air stick around, and that's going to create some pretty high heat indices as we get into the late part of the week. Pretty clear and dry. We had a few stray showers that kind of bubbled up along the eastern shore just to the south of Cambridge, but the main activity, as we talked about yesterday, has stayed on the other side of the bay. This front parked over Cleveland and the Great Lakes region, slowly migrating southward, and that's going to affect us come tomorrow. You can see the flash flood watches here in green along the I-95 corridor. They may be extended southward here over the next 24 hours. We'll see what the National Weather Service does there, but we are going to continue to see scattered shower and storm threats Monday and then into Wednesday, and then more isolated by the middle part to the end of the week. So tonight, partly to mostly cloudy, lower 70s. We'll see those areas of fog and mist develop at the coast. So once we get clear of the fog, we'll see a bit of sunshine, and then those storms kind of roll in after about 3 o'clock tomorrow. Now, we don't have a severe threat here in Delmarva. That's to our west, but can't rule out an isolated gusty storm and with some flash flooding as well. Now, the Weather Prediction Center has that slight risk, so that is for excessive rainfall. That's why flooding is a concern, and then into Tuesday we have that marginal risk. So tomorrow afternoon, I think after about 3 o'clock, this model kind of taking in here a little bit earlier, but I think late in the day we see a round of showers and storms. Where they do form, they could be quite gusty and produce a lot of rain in a short period of time. As that front stalls over the area Tuesday, we see kind of scattered showers, training, slow-moving thunderstorms late Tuesday through Tuesday afternoon. That is my concern for some potential flash flooding as we go into Tuesday, and then we kind of have that scattered shower and storm threat even into Wednesday, and then I think we'll see more of an isolated threat Thursday through Friday. Now, rainfall, I think a general 1 to 2, 3 inches is likely, with some locally higher amounts as that front kind of stalls out over the area with that flash flooding threat. Now, as I mentioned, as we go into Wednesday, that front lifts northward and we see the heat rage on, and then the humidity really begins to skyrocket, and we'll see isolated storm threats. 72 tonight, partly to mostly cloudy. 87 with the scattered showers and storms rolling in tomorrow afternoon. And then Tuesday looks like a rather stormy day with scattered showers and downpours. We're up to 90 on Wednesday, 92 on Thursday. Heat indices Thursday through Friday, 100 to 105.
Still to come here on Coast TV News at 6, the CDC ending an emergency response. But first, a Florida execution would mark the highest in the last 10 years. Executions in the United States are set to reach a 10-year record high. This week, the state of Florida is on track to administer a lethal injection for Michael Bell for the revenge killing of 2 people in 1993. That would make Bell the 26th inmate executed this year in the U.S. That would eclipse the 25 executions carried out last year. Another 9 executions are scheduled for later this year. If those go forward, it will push the U.S. to carry out the most executions in any given year since 2015, when there were 28. The CDC has ended its emergency response to the H5N1 bird flu. The agency cited a drop in cases, adding no human infections have been reported since February. A Health and Human Services spokesperson says the CDC will continue to monitor the virus and scale up resources as needed. Coming up, tomato prices could jump this week, how President Trump's tariffs play a factor. People across the country are set to pay more for ketchup, salsa, and any other tomato-based foods. Starting tomorrow, the U.S. is pulling out of a 3-decade-old tomato price agreement with Mexico. The move is to make way for nearly 21% tariffs on most Mexican tomato imports. That can mean higher prices for Americans at the grocery stores and restaurants like pizza shops. Anywhere that uses tomatoes, some restaurant owners who use imported tomatoes say they fear the jump could put their business in jeopardy. And we're now going to take a live look and a beautiful shot there in Ocean City. And after the break here on Coast TV News at 6, we have a final check on your forecast. Friday, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from Coast TV. It's full of features, cool things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up now for our Feel Good Friday newsletter at coasttv.com/sign up. And MERR had an unusual call on Friday. A mother and calf pair of bottlenose dolphins had been spotted near Milton's Memorial Park on Friday morning. Take a look at this on your screen. MERR says the dolphins were likely in the area seeking fish, and while uncommon, there are reports of dolphins in the Broadkill on a regular basis. When the tide turned, MERR says the dolphins quickly swam back out of the river.
Very cool there, and kind of a rinse and repeat kind of forecast here each and every night. Mild, muggy, falling into the lower 70s tonight. We're at 81 in Dover with some areas of fog developing, especially at the coast. Get your forecast anytime by dialing the First Alert weather phone. Now, as we go into our Monday, watch for scattered showers and storms to develop after about 3 o'clock. Some of those could be a bit gusty, producing some localized flash flooding, and then that front will stall out over the area into Tuesday, promoting some drenching downpours that could once again produce some flash flooding. So keep a close eye to the forecast, and we heat it up. 90s Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Humidity skyrockets, and yeah, Brandon, it's going to feel like 100 to 105 through that time frame.
Thank you for that, Chris. And there's too many rain icons on that 10-day. We're going to have to make a change to that. Thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News at 6. For more news and local weather, download our Coast TV News app. Be sure to join us tonight at 11. Until then, have a great night.